What's up, guys? Tim Little. Welcome back to Tactical Bassin. Today's video, we're talking about summertime BFS fishing. It's not just for wintertime, it's just not for finesse baits, but today we're covering our favorite gear, our favorite techniques to help you catch more fish right now on BFS gear. So I just got back from a trip up north chasing some Magnum smallmouth. Traditionally, clear water. I'm not even exaggerating. On this trip, I saw bottom in my own eyes. I have a witness with me in 57 feet of water. I could see bottom right at 60. It was getting a little blurry, so I'm calling 57. It's the deepest water I've ever seen, fresh water, seen the bottom, and big smallmouth. Traditionally, light line, long spinning rods, you know, for your hair jigs, your finesse swim baits, your spy baits, but I was throwing it all basically on BFS gear, bait casters. It was so much fun taking a 2-inch or a 3-inch swim bait that you would normally throw on a long spinning rod, a 7'2", 7'4", 7'6", 7'9" inch spinning rod, and throwing that out there, but throwing it on a bait caster, guys, I gotta tell you, I had so much more fun. Yes, playing them, specifically smallmouth, when they're jumping and cartwheeling out of the water, you catch those big 5-6 pounders and they're cartwheeling on that light line. It's so much fun. You got that long rod just doubled over. But guys, let me tell you, when you're actually fishing and you're making cast after cast after cast, I just fired that thing like 30-40 yards. There's no flipping the bail over, there's no line twist. The muscle memory of throwing a 2.8 inch swim bait and an 8-inch swim bait is identical, right? I'm just getting bit. Actually, right now I'm gonna cut to a clip. As I was setting up for this video, I threw one out, got bit again. Threw one out and caught a really nice crappie. So let me cut to that real quick and let's jump back into this. I'm literally out here prepping for this BFS video. Big old crappie on our tactical underspin. Look at the mouth on that guy. Thanks, bud. On a BFS setup, this is that new, it's a really sweet rod. It's a Cashin, it's the Icon series, the BFS rod. So much fun throwing little swim baits, little top waters. I'll leave all the rest of this for the video, but literally pulled the baits out. Still got the box open, tying stuff on, and already caught one. I was literally setting up for this video, but it proves my point. I can take my favorite 2.8, 3-inch, 3.8, 4.3, whatever finesse swim bait you want or you love or like, and you can launch it. Light braid, leader. It is so much fun. So the BFS world, at least here in the United States, is booming. So many new BFS rods on the market, BFS reels, that Corrado BFS. I'm sure at ICAST coming up, we're gonna have a ton of new BFS products for the market. Oh, I got bit again. Want to catch one for you guys. Guys, BFS is not just for, oh, pulled my swim bait down. It's not just for cold finesse fishing. Yes, it is a finesse technique. It allows you to take your favorite finesse techniques and throw them on a bait caster. That's what the bait finesse system is. They're specially designed reels that lets you throw 16th ounce, 1/32 ounce baits without having to worry about backlashing, right? Your favorite Ned rigs. So today's video, I got some baits for you. How many of you guys like throwing the shower blows, the 105 or the 125? Here's the 77 on a bait caster. So we're gonna cover some of my favorite baits and hopefully get you guys fired up. And some of you guys have probably been on the BFS train. I noticed that this guy right here, this Corrado BFS reel, is a bestseller on Tackle Warehouse. So that means that a lot of people are getting behind this. And it's pretty simple why. It is so much fun. It doesn't matter if you're catching big fish with that drag peeling and the bait clicker, it's got a clicker in the drag system, or you're catching 1, 2, 3 pound fish. It is just so much more fun than catching them on your traditional gear. So, and it allows you to throw some of your favorite finesse techniques without having to deal with a spinning reel. You know, flipping the bail, grabbing the line, making the cast, flipping the bail back over, you know, adding that line twist every time you do that. Like I said, I just got back from a trip up north and so many of my big fish were caught on light line on a bait caster, and it was epic. So let's talk Topwater, because I'm sure a lot of you guys are thinking, yeah, BFS, I've seen guys, you know, they'll throw a Ned rig or they'll throw this or that. We'll get into that, but let's talk Topwater, because that's one of my favorite techniques, especially this time of the year. And we all know through the last few years, fishing pressure has just gone up and up and up and up. You know, with COVID years, you know, more and more people went out. It's been awesome, right? Bought more fishing licenses. I think they said between 8 and 10 million new fishing licenses were sold in that period. That's new fishermen coming to the fishing world. More boats are sold. You know, I can go on and on and on and on, but all that equates to more lines, more lures, more hooks in the water. So sometimes as anglers, we have to adjust. You know, maybe it's stepping down from a 105 size shower blows to a 77 size shower blows. So maybe it's stepping down from a 110 whopper plopper to a 90 size whopper plopper, or maybe even the 60 size whopper plopper. You guys see where this is going? It is so much fun. There is a ton of great baits on the market that play right into this whole BFS deal. So, have a little micro poppers. Kind of getting ahead of myself, but hopefully you guys can sense the excitement, the fun, the joy that it brings catch them on this stuff. That's that Oompa 40 by Demiki. Look at that compared to, you guys know that one of my favorite poppers is the Pop Max. A downsized version is the Pop X. Look at the size, right? This is a BFS popper, right? I actually have this on the Pop X Destroyer. That rod is made for this bait. Look how tiny that little guy is. And it works, it pops, you can walk it. But again, Topwater. So we talked about pressure, we talked about having to downsize sometimes changing the sound of the bait. You know, this whopper plopper is gonna sound quite a bit different than your favorite 130 or 110 or 90 size, right? But it also has to do with matching the hatch. If you're on a fishery where, you know, like Chickamauga, when you have that bluegill kind of spawn going on, you got millions and millions and millions of little fish about that size. Baby bluegill, they're a little bit taller, pretty short and stubby, but you gotta match the hatch because that's what those big bass are feeding on. Now you can throw this stuff that you've been throwing on, you know, little blade baits, that sort of stuff. Things that you've been throwing on finesse spinning gear, the BFS allows you to do that summertime. So now, at least in my arsenal, BFS, I got what, 6 BFS setups now? It's a sickness, but it is so much fun. But that allows me to now transition and fish this BFS style type of gear 12 months out of the year. It doesn't matter if it's snowing in December or if you're sweating in June. There are different baits available. Again, don't want to get on too much of a tangent, but Topwater. So we talked about that Shower Blow 77, but again, it's matching the hatch. If they're eating little 2.5, 3-inch shad, that is a money bait right there. You know, guys, watch this. So BFS Corrado, this is another key deal. Oh, it's getting all messy over here. Another key deal with the BFS stuff is using light line. If I'm using straight fluorocarbon, I've really found that kind of bread and butter size is like a 7-pound fluorocarbon, just a straight fluorocarbon for my finesse techniques, you know, my Ned rigs, my little craw baits, my little swim baits, little flukes. We're gonna talk about that here in a second. But what I love about this is I actually put 6-pound braid on here. It's a smooth braid. This is actually 131 by Suffix. Just like every video, I'll link all this stuff down below in the video description for you because there's a lot coming at you. But 6-pound braid, okay? Super sensitive. You don't have to really worry about breaking it because you're not gonna horse these fish in. When you're looking at this rod, I mean, it is bending all the way down to the rod handle. You can only put so much pressure on these fish. You got lighter hooks on your baits. You got a clicker system drag. You don't have to really worry about breaking off because if you do hook a big fish, you're just gonna play it like you normally would. You're not gonna thumb the spool. You're gonna let that drag work for you, wear that fish out, and then get them in the boat. You're not gonna horse them in. But let me demonstrate this for you guys. That's a 77 size Topwater, 6-pound braid. And what I did, I actually put a 10-pound mono leader on there, just like I would if I was fishing my traditional bait caster Topwater gear. I'm gonna run smooth braid. I get that longer castability, casting distance. And then I put a mono leader on there. You don't have to. If you're a guy that likes to throw straight braid, you can throw straight braid on your Topwaters. But those of you guys that love popper fishing, you know, your Pop-Rs or your Demiki D-Pops or your Yellow Magics or your Pop Maxes, your World Pops, all that stuff that you've been throwing on a bait caster, hopefully you are, maybe some of you guys are throwing on a spinning rod, you can throw it on a BFS setup if you want. You know, you can get a 6.8 or a 6.10 medium light or medium power rod to throw it on, but get yourself a BFS reel if you'd like. If you're having issues with throwing it on a bait caster, this is, like I said, this is that little Pop Max or Pop X. It is so much smaller than the Pop Max. It is so much smaller, but now I can throw it on a bait caster. So again, if you're a guy that loves throwing poppers, I got some baits for you. Talk to you guys about this little guy right here, that Oompa 40. Crappie fishermen, bluegill fishermen, bass fishermen, 4-pound largemouth eat that. It's the wildest thing, but you know what? It's because that's what they're feeding on. You're matching the hatch. This little guy here, this is the Rapala, this is the ultralight, ultra pop. Again, little micro poppers that work. And then, like I said, that little Whopper Plopper 60. So hopefully this video is kind of, the light bulb is going off in your head. You know, what could I throw on a BFS setup? Like I said, I was up north, I was throwing hair jigs. I mean, you don't get much more finesse than 4-pound fluorocarbon throwing a hair jig on a 7.5 to 8 foot rod, launching it as far as you can. But guess what? I put 5-pound braid, 5-pound braid. It has like a 1-pound fluorocarbon diameter. And I tied like a 30-foot, 4-pound leader, and I was bombing that hair jig. Okay, so hopefully that light bulb is going off. Spy bait fishermen, you guys like throwing spy baits? Now you can bomb that thing out there and it's just like you're throwing that 2.8 on a bait caster or an 8-inch Huddleston, right? It's that same muscle memory. So we talked about Topwater, showed you the Pop X, showed you the shower blows, the 77. What else do I have for you guys? I showed you those little poppers. I mean, this is my BFS box. I got little crankbaits in there. I got little twitch baits, little rattle baits, some deeper crankbaits. Again, I'll link all this stuff down below in the video description. But getting back to finesse, you can throw your favorite finesse techniques on a BFS setup. Guys, I showed you this guy right here. That's that cache and that icon. That's our underspin. That's a 2.8 Kitech. 99.9% of anglers just a couple of years ago were throwing all of their 2.8s and probably 3.3 swim baits on a spinning rod. Guys, let me tell you, throwing it on a bait caster is lights out. It is so much fun. There are so many benefits, the no line twist, the added distance on the castability, your cast distance, and then the muscle memory. It is worth it to try. So those of you guys that are, like I said, bluegill fishermen, crappie fishermen, bass fishermen, and you like to throw your finesse swim baits, check out a BFS setup. Those of you guys that like throwing Ned rigs and that sort of stuff, look at this little guy right here. TRD bugs, that's actually rigged on a Rains head. Tell me that's not gonna get smoked fishing it on bottom. Again, if you wanna flip or pitch around docks, if you wanna fish deep off of ledges or around brush piles, BFS gear, guys. It is the way of the future. I believe Matt as well feels the same way. He's as hyped, probably more than I am about this. You know, he jumped on that BFS train. We were ordering stuff from overseas because the BFS has been around in Japan for decades, right? It's just now recently we have had the reels available to the US market, and that's really allowed a lot of these manufacturers to jump on board and start developing some of their own BFS rods. But this guy right here, this is the Megabass Destroyer P5. Look at that little guy, right? Little Texas rig craw. That's that Rains, where's it at? That's that Rains 2.5-inch ring craw mini. Thing is lights out. But getting back to what I was talking about, that's a P5 Destroyer that literally says bait finesse. This rod is so light, so sensitive. If you want to do like little flips, little pitches around your isolated pieces of cover, or if you just want to fish ledge fishing or fish traditionally, make your casts and fish it like you would on your spinning rod, this allows you to do it. Again, guys, I'm running, I'll link the line and stuff down below in the video description, but if I'm running straight fluorocarbon, I've really found like 6 to 7 pound fluorocarbon is ideal for your finesse techniques. If you're throwing braid to leader, you can get away with a little bit heavier line. Say you're throwing Topwater, or say you are flipping a little crawbait around flooded timber or dock pilings or something like that, you could get away with your braid to a larger monofilament leader. Typically the mono is going to be more abrasion resistant than the braid will. You know, we all think of braid being super strong. We're thinking about punching and frogging, but a lot of the smooth braid, it's not too abrasion resistant. Like some of that thicker mono is actually gonna be better. So that's when I'll run like an 8, a 10, or even a 12 pound leader. But I'm not worried about breaking the line, because again, I'm gonna jack them and they're gonna peel drag and they're gonna fight, but I'm not worried about overpowering and breaking my line. So these guys right here are two of my favorite craws to throw if I'm finesse fishing. And then, you know, obviously we talked about the swim baits and stuff, but guys, hopefully this opens, you know, that light bulb is going off and you're thinking, man, I could throw little deep cranks, I could throw little square bills, I could throw little topwaters, I can throw Texas rigs, I can throw drop shots. One I haven't talked about yet. How many of you guys love throwing a fluke this time of the year, right? The fish are finally chasing shad. They're kind of in that summer pattern where we're working through fall. You got the bait balls balling up, you got the fish chasing them. This guy right here. This is a 3.5 inch rhythm wag by Jackal. Again, I'll link it down below in the video description, but I can throw my favorite tiny fluke style baits and on a bait caster. I don't have to worry about backlashing. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. I don't have to worry about flipping the bail and closing the bail and pulling the drag, making sure I don't have line twist on my spinning rods. Now I can throw my favorite downsized fluke style baits on a BFS lineup setup. Guys, down below, I will link you all these products. This is my summertime BFS lineup. Again, I just dove down that rabbit hole head first, right? I am down that rabbit hole. I'm thinking about all the different ways, like I said, throwing hair jigs, throwing spy baits, throwing swim baits, all that stuff on BFS that traditionally, for decades upon decades, we've all been using spinning gear. Now, there is a time and a place for spinning gear still, right? Maybe you're skipping shade lines or you're skipping docks and you don't want to worry about really blowing up your reel. You're still gonna want to use spinning gear. But guys, for the most part, this BFS stuff is awesome. Hopefully you guys can sense the enthusiasm and the joy that it brings. It makes fishing so much more fun. You know, catching a 6-pound smallmouth on a 901 NRX Plus with 4-pound line is epic, right? Peel and drag, you got that rod doubled over, you're worried, your heart's thumping, you're worried it's gonna break off, it's cartwheeling. When you catch that same fish on a bait caster, it's just more fun. I don't know why, but it just is. Guys, I appreciate you for watching. If you like this video, if you learned something from it, hit that like button. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We just broke 550,000 subscribers, just mind blown. And it's all because of you guys. We appreciate each and every one of you. We've been doing this for many, many, many years, just trying to provide good content for you guys to build confidence, to learn from, good instructional stuff, so that you guys can watch these videos, take it out, feed off of our confidence, and catch more fish. The more people we have fishing and catching, the better it is for the entire industry. Enough of that, guys. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you for watching. If you haven't dove down that rabbit hole, or at least kind of tested the waters, guys, BFS is a ton of fun. Appreciate you. We will see you guys on the next video.